Hello, high level listeners. Welcome back to our side by side American and British English learning channel here on YouTube. And welcome back to another one of our special holiday episodes. Since we're coming to the end of another year, maybe lately you've been thinking about setting some new goals for your English language skills in the new year. So, what would you like to do to improve your English? Do you feel a little rusty and want to spend more time brushing up on words and phrases? Do you want to expand your vocabulary by learning new advanced words? Or maybe you want to dedicate more time to listening practice. Whatever your New Year's goals might be, we want to help you express what you want to learn and what you want to achieve very clearly and confidently in English.
Yes, we do. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Mark, the British voice here on High Level Listening, and together with Kat from the USA, we're going to build on our previous episode, which was also about New Year's goals and dreams. But this time, we're going to focus only on explaining what you want to do with your English. By the end of this lesson, you'll know 15 different phrases and ideas to share your English learning plans clearly, correctly, and naturally to get your English studies off to a great start.
We know that having the words to every lesson is important, so we've added subtitles below for you to follow along. But if you'd also like to take it a step further, join us as a member here on High Level Listening on YouTube. You can get a PDF transcript of every single lesson and easily read along with every single word. Details are in the description below.
Okay, so let's get started with our phrases. We've taken 15 common phrases about English improvement or language improvement in general. We'll guide you through each one step by step, explain it, and then give you a couple of example sentences as well.
All right, so let's get started. Mark, how are your language skills coming?
I'm a little bit rusty. I'm a little bit rusty. Rusty is the main word. When you talk about a skill that you have, especially languages, if I am rusty, it means I haven't practiced for a while, so I'm not as good as I used to be. Maybe last year I was speaking English a lot at work or with friends, but then I changed jobs or my English colleagues left, and now I'm less and I have less and less practice. So maybe I make more and more mistakes. I forget words. I'm rusty. That is rusty. So as an example sentence, you could say, I'm a little bit rusty, but next year I'd like to start practicing English again.
I'm a little rusty, but I'd like to start practicing English again.
My grammar is a little rusty because I haven't used it much lately.
My grammar is a little rusty because I haven't used it much lately. All right, we're on to our next phrase. What would you like to do to improve your English? Well, I'd like to expand my vocabulary. I'd like to expand my vocabulary. Now, of course, you can say I'd like to learn some new words or learn some new vocabulary, but I quite like this phrase to expand my vocabulary means to learn more words and understand more, right? So I really think of the word like a balloon. It starts to expand. So I'd like to expand my vocabulary. An example would be, I'd like to expand my vocabulary so I can express myself better.
I like to expand my vocabulary so I can express myself better. Yeah, like Kat said, maybe if I want to express myself better, it means learning new words about how I feel, about my work, or something like that.
I'm reading more books in English to expand my vocabulary.
I'm reading more books in English to expand my vocabulary. Reading is an excellent way to expand your vocabulary. There's lots of words that we write but don't say, so reading's a great way to expand your vocabulary. Phrase number 3, I'd like to sound more natural. That's I would like to sound more natural. I'd like to sound more natural. That means I want to sound more like native speakers. Maybe there are words and phrases you learn in textbooks, but you never hear native speakers say them. They use slang, phrases just that are very casual. I want to use those casual slang phrases because they sound natural. Natural, like they grew up with the language and it's their first language. This is often a big goal for many language learners. In all languages, I'd like to sound more natural when I speak English.
I like to sound more natural when I speak English. This could be the way you talk, your accent, the words that you use. Maybe if you're hanging out with some friends and they just sound so cool in English. Oh, I'd like to sound more natural like them.
Another example, practicing conversations helps me sound more natural.
Practicing conversations helps me sound more natural. Now, I just mentioned the word pronunciation. I want to improve my pronunciation. I'd like to improve my pronunciation. So if you improve, you get better. Okay. So maybe your pronunciation or the way you talk, the way you say the words, maybe you're not sure. How do I say that word? Is that word correct? Is that the correct pronunciation? So it's the way you say the word. Okay. So here's an example. If you want to say the word travel, well, it's not travel. That's the wrong pronunciation. It's travel, travel. So it's the way we say the words, right? So I want to improve my pronunciation, meaning I want to say these words more clearly and more correctly. I want to improve my pronunciation so people can understand me better.
I want to improve my pronunciation so people can understand me better.
Listening to how native speakers talk helps me improve my pronunciation. Sometimes if you learn with a teacher and they might have an accent, or I can think of my French teacher when I was younger, he had a very thick American accent when he spoke French. So my French pronunciation was not very good, right? So listening to how native speakers talk, real French people, helps me improve my pronunciation.
Listening to how native speakers talk helps me improve my pronunciation. It's one thing we've learned from our students on this channel is some people practice reading a sentence and then listen to us and then compare their pronunciation with our pronunciation. If theirs is a little bit different, then they try again to make it sound exactly like we do. So you can use high-level listening to improve your pronunciation as well. Okay, another goal you might have for your language skills in the new year. I'm trying to build my confidence. I'm trying to build my confidence. You build confidence like you improve your confidence or you have more confidence. We often say build my confidence. And some people, when they are face to face and need to speak English or a second language, suddenly feel very nervous or shy, or they start thinking and thinking and thinking so much that nothing comes out. So if you want to overcome that problem, you need to build your confidence. You want to feel less nervous and more sure when you're speaking English. You can do that through practicing out loud, joining language exchanges where you get to speak out loud more often, even if you do it in a mirror. Producing the words out loud, hearing your own voice does start to help your confidence. It does start to build it step by step. As an example sentence, you could say, next year, I'm trying to build my confidence when talking to native speakers.
I'm trying to build my confidence when talking to native speakers. So I'm a little nervous now, but I want to be more confident in the future. So I'm trying to build my confidence. It doesn't happen overnight, right? It's step by step. So we're building your confidence.
One more example. Speaking in front of small groups would help me build my confidence.
Oh, I'm getting a little nervous thinking about this, but speaking in front of groups would help me build my confidence. So I just got to try it. You've just got to try it, right? I like this phrase because it's a good way, if you've forgotten some things in the past, I need to brush up on something. I need to brush up on my grammar. I need to brush up on my English. This would pair really well with I'm a little rusty, so I need to brush up on my English. So this would work perfectly together because both of these phrases basically mean that you used to be good at it. You learned it a long time ago, but maybe you've forgotten, maybe you haven't practiced in a while, so you need to brush up. To brush up is to review and improve some skill. So maybe something you learned in college or university a long time ago, maybe you haven't used it in a while, so you need to review it or brush up on it. So I need to brush up on my grammar. I need to brush up on my grammar before my English exam.
I need to brush up on my grammar before my English exam. Like Kat said, maybe you were very good at it in the past. Maybe you knew all the prepositions or you knew all the irregular past tense verbs. But if you don't use them, then you will forget them. When you come back, again, you brush up.
Brushing up on my grammar by reviewing my old textbooks. So how are you brushing up on your grammar? By reviewing my old textbooks. So I'm opening them up thinking, oh yeah, I remember this. Okay, I remember this. So I'm a little rusty, but I'm brushing up on my grammar by reviewing my old textbooks.
Brushing up on my grammar by reviewing my old textbooks. Okay, next phrase about improving your language. Maybe a goal is, I want to practice thinking in English. I want to practice thinking in English. So we know there's speaking in English, listening in English, writing in English, but also thinking in English. This means I want to stop translating everything in my head, and the first words that come into my mind are in English. When I'm in the kitchen and I look at the different appliances and things, I want the English word to come up first, maybe before my native language. The idea is if you think in English, then you'll be able to produce it more quickly and fluently. You'll also be able to remember these words because you'll be repeating them more often in your head. So this is a goal. This is quite a high level goal, I think. I want to practice thinking in English to speak more fluently.
I want to practice thinking in English to speak more fluently. Now, remember, fluency changes from a lot of people, but speaking fluently is kind of without stopping and without having to stop and think about it. Remember, because we're thinking in English, we don't have to stop and think about it.
Another example, I want to practice thinking in English by naming things around me in English.
So how I do it is I practice thinking in English by naming things around me in English. Okay, got my phone, my hairbrush, my wallet, my mouse, my cup of coffee. Okay, so I like our next phrase because, yes, we talk about New Year's resolutions, but sometimes we don't actually put it into practice, right? We don't actually do what we want to do. So I'd like to work on my listening skills. I'd like to work on my speaking skills. I'd like to work on my listening, my speaking, my writing skills. Now, your skills are things that you are good at doing, okay? But if you'd like to work on them, you'd like to improve them by practicing, okay? So I'd like to work on my skills. I'm good, but I want to be better. So then you practice, you study, and you get better and better. So I'd like to work on my listening skills by watching movies in English.
Maybe next year, I'd like to work on my listening skills by watching movies in English.
Now, what's the difference between I'd like to and I like to? I'd like to is something for the future. I would like to do this in the future. And if I said I like to work on my listening skills, then I'm already doing it. This is part of my daily routine. I like to work on my listening skills by watching movies in English. Podcasts, like high level listening, are a great way to work on your listening skills.
Podcasts are a great way to work on my listening skills. I like the phrase work on. It sounds like you're going to study hard, like you really want to improve it. You're going to practice it a lot. You're going to work on it. You're going to make yourself better. Okay, another phrase when you have a goal in learning a language, I'm focusing on my fluency. I'm focusing on, and then the skill. So I'm focusing on my listening skills. I'm focusing on pronunciation. This one, I'm focusing on my fluency. Fluency is not how fast you can talk, but it's about talking continuously without any big pauses. So I'm focusing on my fluency means I'm going to practice and think most about my fluency. It is the top priority. It is the main skill that I want to improve. I'm focusing on it. You can practice fluency by setting a timer on your phone for 1 minute or 2 minutes and just trying to continuously talk without any big pauses. If 2 minutes is too easy, you can extend that time, but that is focusing on or only practicing that skill. You might say, I'm focusing on my fluency by having more conversations.
I'm focusing on my fluency by having more conversations.
One more example. I'm really focusing on my fluency by using a timer.
Yeah, I'm really focusing on my fluency this year by using a timer. Okay, so our next one, I quite like this phrase. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Now, I'll be honest, if you have coworkers that you're working with and you're working with them in the United States, most people will say, "How's your English coming along? How's your English coming along?" Or "How's your Spanish coming along? How's your French coming along?" So if they know that you're practicing a language, this is a very common phrase they might ask you. So, "How's your English coming along?" "Whew, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I just need to improve my writing skills." So if you're feeling pretty good, okay, but you're not perfect, this is a very nice way to say I'm working on it, right? I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I just need to improve my writing skills. I just need to work on my natural conversation. I just need to do this. Okay, so it's a really kind of an interesting way to share that I'm working on it. I'm trying my best. I'm getting there. I just need to improve my writing skills, meaning my writing skills aren't perfect. They're not great. So I really want to improve those things. I'm getting there. I just need to improve my writing skills to write better emails.
Getting there. I just need to improve my writing skills to write better emails. So, Kat, how's your English coming along?
Well, I'm getting there. I just need to improve my speaking skills by practicing in class every day. Mar, how's your English coming along?
I'm getting there. I just need to improve my speaking skills by practicing in class every day. So yeah, I'm getting there is a really good natural sounding answer. It means I am improving. I am getting better. I'm not at the level that I want to be yet. So I'm still not satisfied, but I'm getting there. I'm getting closer. Another phrase about improving your language skills. In the new year, I want to dedicate more time to learning idioms and expressions. I want to dedicate more time to learning idioms and expressions. So we've got a unique example where it's to, and then the next word is ing. But that's the phrase. I want to dedicate more time to doing this. So dedicate more time is spend more time. I want to maybe spend 45 minutes on learning grammar, or I want to spend an hour or 3 hours a week. I want to dedicate more time where I sit down and I only study. So I want to understand idioms and expressions better. Idioms are the phrases like "it's raining cats and dogs." Those are metaphors that are not literal, but we use them all the time. As an example, you could say, I want to dedicate more time to learning idioms and expressions to sound more like a native speaker.
I want to dedicate more time to learning idioms and expressions to sound more like a native speaker.
I want to dedicate more time to listening to English podcasts.
I want to dedicate more time to listening to English podcasts like high level listening. Okay, so this is another very easygoing phrase, just like I'm a little rusty, I'd like to brush up on things, and I'm trying to pick up new phrases. Now, I know a lot of us, and I do this too, we order textbooks online, and the textbooks come in, and we open them up, and whew, man, all that studying, all that practice. But maybe a little bit more natural way and a little bit more casual and easygoing way is to pick up new phrases. Maybe you turn on the TV, maybe you're chatting with your English speaking friends, and they say something that you've never heard before. So you think, what does that mean? Oh, I see. Okay, okay. Well, you didn't really study this word, right? You've never heard it before. One of your friends used it very naturally, casually. So you picked up something. You kind of casually learned this and you started using it. So I'm trying to pick up new phrases. The words pick up have lots of different meanings in English, but this is a really good phrasal verb that means to learn it very casually. So I'm trying to pick up new phrases by talking to English speaking friends.
Trying to pick up new phrases by talking to English-speaking friends.
I'm trying to pick up new phrases by watching English TV shows.
Trying to pick up new phrases by watching English TV shows. Yes, as Kat mentioned, when you pick up a new word, you hear it naturally. It's not in a study environment. It's on a TV show, on the radio, or just in a conversation. You're like, oh, that's a new word. I just
Mm.
picked that up. The next phrase is one of our longest ones, maybe a bit complicated. I want to feel more comfortable talking about more in-depth topics. I want to feel more comfortable doing something. So I want to feel more comfortable talking about more in-depth topics. Maybe you have a good English vocabulary and you can talk about your life and your work a little bit. So when you hang out with English-speaking friends, it's fine. But then somebody starts talking about politics or talking about news or talking about something more scientific, then that is a more in-depth topic. That means that the vocabulary is sometimes less common or more difficult to remember. Maybe it's something you don't talk about or even think about very often. Maybe it's something very complex and the way you have to talk about it is quite sensitive or nuanced. Those are also in-depth topics. This is also where you get to the C1, C2 level of vocabulary in textbooks. And yeah, this is a big, ambitious goal. I want to feel more comfortable talking about more in-depth topics. You can apply this phrase to other things, though. I want to feel more comfortable talking. That's also a goal. I want to feel more comfortable writing. It just means I want it to come more easily for me. I want it to feel less stressful and less difficult. I want to feel more comfortable talking about topics like culture, history, and current events.
Yes, those in-depth topics. So not just saying one single phrase, but really talking about the subject quite a bit. Yeah, I want to feel more comfortable talking about topics like culture, history, and current events.
Mm. Or I want to feel more comfortable keeping up with native speaker conversations.
I want to feel more comfortable keeping up with native speaker conversations. So keeping up with something is continuing to follow it, right? Okay, then she said this. Okay, and then he said this. And oh no, now I'm lost. Okay, okay, I'm keeping up. I'm keeping up. Yes, now I understand. I'm still here. I'm still listening. So, our very last one, I'm trying to make English part of my weekly routine. Now, this might not be everybody's goal, but I think this is the easiest way to improve. And it's making it part of your daily routine, weekly routine, even monthly routine. So I want to include English in my schedule, right? I'm trying to make it part of my routine. I'm trying to make English part of my weekly routine. So I'm trying to make English part of my weekly routine by watching a new weekly TV show that comes out every week.
Yeah, I'm trying to make English part of my weekly routine by watching a new TV show that comes out every week.
I'm trying to make English part of my weekly routine by listening to high level listening on YouTube.
I'm trying to make English part of my weekly routine by listening to high-level listening on YouTube. What a great idea.
What a wonderful idea. You should. That's a
I
great
should start
idea.
doing that. Yeah.
You'll improve in no time. You'll improve in no time. All right. Well, there you go, everybody. We hope that you can make high-level listening part of your weekly routine by joining us every week for 2 brand new videos. We'll help you brush up on old vocabulary, pick up new phrases, and help you feel more confident in expressing yourself in English.
Yes, thanks very much for joining us. Let's hear those phrases one more time. I'm a little bit rusty.
A little rusty.
I'd like to expand my vocabulary.
I'd like to expand my vocabulary.
I'd like to sound more natural.
I'd like to sound more natural.
I want to improve my pronunciation.
I want to improve my pronunciation.
I'm trying to build my confidence.
I'm trying to build my confidence.
I need to brush up on my grammar.
I need to brush up on my grammar.
I want to practice thinking in English.
I want to practice thinking in English.
I'd like to work on my listening skills.
I'd like to work on my listening skills.
I'm focusing on my fluency.
Focusing on my fluency.
I just need to improve my writing skills.
I'm getting better. I just need to improve my writing skills.
I want to dedicate more time to learning idioms and expressions.
I want to dedicate more time to learning idioms and expressions.
Trying to pick up new phrases.
I'm trying to pick up new phrases.
I want to feel more comfortable talking about more in-depth topics.
I want to feel more comfortable talking about more in-depth topics.
I'm trying to make English part of my weekly routine.
I'm trying to make English part of my weekly routine.
Okay, there you go. So do you have any of the same goals for 2025 or beyond? We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. We do read and reply to every single one. So come and chat with us. Tell us your language goals for the new year. Try to use some of the phrases you've seen in this video as well. What would you like to do to improve your English? What skills do you want to focus on specifically? How's your English coming along? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
Happy New Year, everyone. We'll see you soon for our very next video here on High Level Listening. Thank you so much, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like to see these PDF transcripts for every single video, you can join us as a member here on High Level Listening right here on YouTube. Thanks so much, everybody.
Bye-bye.